preparation for another big wild French carping adventure. It's now Tuesday the 26th of September, sometime in the afternoon, on a glorious autumn afternoon, I must say, and we're all in a little bit of a rush here. It was originally meant to be heading off on a Friday morning, but there's a possibility we might even get away on a Tuesday morning, so a bit 24 hours earlier. And because I decided to perhaps head down to the south of France instead of somewhere mid-country, that extra 24 hours is going to be a real big bonus. Not coming, Wayne's not coming with me this year. Instead, it's just going to be me and my girlfriend Claire. So Claire's just coming along for 2 weeks of peace and quiet away from her gorgeous kids. And come and take in the atmosphere of what a wild carp fishing adventure is all about. So here we are at the minute. I'll just pan round, get my ugly mug out the shop, and as you guys have probably seen before, it's the usual paraphernalia that's involved in going on one of these big adventures on these big public lakes and rivers in France. So got the usual stuff there, so I've talked through before: my 2 boats, all my rods up there, markers, bivvies, bed chairs, gas fridge, spare bait, you know, fuel, you name it, got it all there. And so at the minute we're in preparation of my bait, and we've already this afternoon started pre-soaking particles. There you're looking at my party blend, and then I've got hemp, and I've got maize, and I've got tigers, and I've also got a lot of pellet as well. Do like my pellet. So that's all just soaking for the next 24 hours in boiling hot water and sugar and spices and chilies and stuff like that. And then I'll boil it tomorrow, and then it will be good for the for the first week of our adventure. Also, you can see I've got an awful lot of boilie here, probably way too much really for what I'm going to need, but you know, you can always bring it back, you don't have to put it in. And this is exactly what happened last year. So on Rob and Wayne's big carp adventure, we made a serious amount of bait. Unfortunately, Wayne didn't have the most prolific of trips, so you know, I brought back a lot of bait, and so did he. So all this here is what we brought back last year, and it's been frozen. Well, it was well air dried last year before it was put in the freezer, and it's been frozen all winter. And then I bought it out a couple of weeks ago and just air dried it again, just to get any moisture out of it from it being frozen all year. Trouble is, it's now like bullets. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of a quench on this stuff, which will involve a pre-soak overnight, and then drain all the water off of it. And then put the lid back on the bucket, and then the boilers absorb all that moisture, and it will be basically like a fresh boilie again. When we do the pre-soak, obviously we add water and we add some liquids to it, you know, some amino compound and krill, or whatever you like really, you know, and that just helps draw in some good natural attractants back into the boilie, so you've got a really good fresh looking bait. So we've got one here, there's a bucket here. I had to wash these off. These were some of the Blake's Bait stuff, some of their krill, and for some reason the bottom layers of trays in air drying for the last week, they got a bit mouldy, so I had to give them a quick wash off, and then I'll give them a good whiz around in some of their krill liquid and a little bit of amino compound. And I'm going to put the lid on those, and then they'll absorb all those goodnesses overnight with the lid on it. They won't dry out and crack, and now they'll be you know, perfect in the next few days. Possibly a little bit early, but they were just so mouldy I had to do something with them, and the best thing was just to wash off that mould and then get some liquid straight back on them, and they'll be okay. Possibly a little bit soft because a little bit premature with them because they weren't that hard. These on the other hand will be benefit from doing now because they're so hard. So yeah, so we're going to crack on with that, start rehydrating some of these boilies for the first week of our trip, or for the first few days, and then I'll have a sort of a constant flow of rehydrated boilers going on throughout the trip. Right, here we are, Thursday afternoon, and 1:30, and we've just all packed and ready to go. Just phoned up the ferry the tunnel company and got an earlier booking, so ahead of schedule, and hopefully we should be in France sometime early evening. So as you can see, the van's packed and we are all ready to go. So on that note, we're off. Say hi, Claire.
Hi, I've had my wee before we go.
There we are, 4:30, nice trip round the M25, missed all the traffic, and we're just boarding now, and hopefully should be the other side in the next half an hour or so, and then look forward to the next 11 hours of our crossing across to the south of France. Good morning. It's now Friday the 29th September, about 10:15 in the morning. We've had a great drive down through France after getting on an earlier tunnel yesterday. About 5 o'clock, popped up to Belgium to get a load of cigarettes for Clare, and then cut our way back down through Paris, and we ended up here at one of my favourite little pit stops, just south of the dam at the Barrage de Yugazon. So we've got here at about 3:30 this morning and had a good 5 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and now we've got the last 260 miles of our trip to go down South Toulouse to our destination. So fingers crossed we should be there for about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Good evening, 7:30, Saturday 30th of September, and I suppose really we've been fishing now for nearly 24 hours. Good run down yesterday on Friday, finally got down here and found where we wanted to fish by about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. So got everything set up. It was a glorious evening. It's an amazing sunset, as it always is around here, and yeah, got the rods out, got 4 rods out, baited up, found in good areas, and yeah, really happy with what I've done. So Claire's obviously here fishing with me, so I've got another cart to pêche, so we can fish up to 8 rods. So why not? You know, these are tough places. It's not exactly lots of runs, so we've decided just to try and fast track any results and sort of find out what's going on, if there's carp here, where they are, you know, what depth they're at. So we've got 8 rods, all in varying depths, anything from about 11-12 foot, which I'm not massively confident with, but it nonetheless 12 foot down to 14, and then 17 to sort of 25, and 27 to 32, and 28 and 29 feet. So, and covering all areas of the lake in front of me. So at this point we just live in hope and see what happens. It's been woke up to a very damp morning, very low cloud, Scotch mist, very fine drizzly rain. The material started got heavier and heavier, and now heavy rain. It was up until maybe about 5 o'clock this afternoon. Finally now it's as best it's been all day. Haven't rained for quite a while. but it's meant to be raining for the next couple of days, so it's not going to be fun, put it that way. It's really muddy. It's on the old lake bed, and it's a chore in its own right just to keep the bivvy clean. And I'm smiling because I'm wondering what that noise was, and I can hear Claire scrubbing her teeth in the bivvy. I thought, what the hell is that? So yes, there we go. So just turn around, just see what I can do. And as you can see, it's muddy. Doing the best I can to keep the bivvy clean. An extra unhooking, extra ground sheet there, and a bucket of water to wash our feet, because this horrible mud is very muddy. So that incidentally is where I fished with Wayne last year, just there, and we were right up where those dark grass or weeds are, and Wayne was just fishing just there. And we're on what was an island, well, it's sunk when at high water, you can't see it. You know, I've been here and I didn't realise it was here. And last year it was a very small island. I mean, even where the van is now, there was water up to there. It's dropped down about 10 to 12 feet. So all these trees last year were a lot more covered in water. Certainly from there, see the dark, there you go, see that dark line, that's where it's normally up to. You can see the greyness on the trees and all the mussels. That's what's normally under water, obviously. Dam. Couple of young lads there. We've got 30 foot out here, 32 foot in the old riverbed, and there's another gang of lads fishing on the point about 400 yards, 500 yards around the corner there, which is very, very shallow. I think I just fish in on old information. Fish are up that way, certainly in the spring and the summer when the water's deep. But I'm adamant the fish are probably searching out deeper water this time of year. Just hope they come cruising up and down the middle here, and we managed to steal one or two. There we go.
It's now Monday morning after a wet and miserable night. Rob is finally in, and he's out on that little black dot, out on that boat in just his boxer shorts, t-shirt and hoodie with his wellies on, and he must be bloody freezing. And he's playing a fish. So yeah, 9 o'clock approximately, and I think he's absolutely bloody crazy, but there you go. And I will film some more when I can be bothered to go outside in the freezing cold once I've got dressed. and I'll let you know what is going on. Alright, bye.
Good morning. It's now Monday the 2nd of October, and we've just done our third night. Not really a lot to say, so hence I haven't really checked in. It's been very changeable. We arrived here and it was a glorious afternoon, 5 o'clock on a Friday evening. Probably temperatures sort of high 20s, very little wind, bright blue sky, bright blue water even as well. And then it's quickly changed to rain and wind, and yesterday we had a reasonable day, overcast, a little bit moody, but weather had dropped, the wind had dropped and temperature had risen. It looked great. Rain come in again last night. Got all my baits back out in position before that, after they've been in for sort of 48 hours without touching them, and nothing apart from one small roach bream hybrid. So we're fishing, covering every single possible angle of the lake in front of me, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And 8:45 this morning it finally did. Third night again really, and we've had one, and it's a bit of a good one as well. Don't know how big it is. Just left it in the retaining sling just for the moment, just let it rest up. It was an epic battle, and just give us a chance to get everything ready. The truth. Fuck. Haven't got it out the map yet. Yeah, it is £50.4.
£50.4. Wow, babe.
I don't believe it. I'd have been happy with anything over £44. I really would. I'm going to check. I will check those. I ain't going to lie. No, immense, absolutely immense. Wow.
Well, I said a scaly mirror, but I got the weight a little bit wrong, babe.
You said, Rob, your first fish is going to be a scaly mirror of £45 plus. You slightly got it wrong. It's £50. Absolutely crazy. 4 times I've been to this venue and not managed to get a 40-pounder. Wayne turns up for the last time with me, and he gets a 40-pounder, and I think I've been rewarded at last.
Let me have, babe.
Look at the mouth on this. Only one mark. I was a bit lucky, only just caught him on the outside of his lip. This is what we come here for, fish that very rarely see the bank. That says it all. With no names. Fantastic condition, well proportioned fish.
Monster, babe.
afternoon. It's Monday the 2nd of October, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was our third night last night, and I was getting a little bit panicky, just a little bit. We had seen the odd smaller fish moving, but always get a bit twitchy after the third night, and when I woke up at about 5 o'clock this morning and realised, oh, you know, it's morning and nothing had happened, I thought, well, that's it, that's another night gone, and that was it, and drifted back off to sleep, only to be awoken by an absolute melting run, which was at 8:45 this morning, and went out and hit into it. Instantly knew it was a powerful fish, and off I went out in the boat. As you can see, it's a pretty brisk wind. It's blowing right down the arm of this lake, and it's definitely a good 15 mile an hour wind, and you know, this arm's probably a good sort of 2.5 miles long. We're certainly halfway down it, so the wind gets up a little bit. So off I went out in the boat and proceeded to do battle with what turned out to be a fish of my lifetime, at £50 4 ounces, and really wanted to make sure it was £50, and as I said on the video before, I double checked the weigh sling just to make sure it was what it was, and made sure I hadn't done anything silly, and I was absolutely bang on with my zeroing in, and I'll take it. £50 4 ounces, to me it doesn't matter whether it's 49.12 or 54, it's still one hell of a fish, and that's made the trip. So yeah, so got some great footage of it, as you see, some great photographs, and went back strongly. We've pulled everything out of the bag to try and put the pieces to the puzzle together, and up until yesterday afternoon, the rigs had all been out there in good spots, what I'd consider to be good spots in varying depths, for 48 hours. Put all the rigs back on, all bar one. A pop-up was missing off of one, but apart from that they were all fishing really well. The baits I'm using have been air dry now for some of them for 2 years, and you know, they're really performing well, and that's what it's all about on here. There's some giant black crayfish out there that have been really making short work of boilers in the past, but the baits are working. So we've searched every single area. We're fishing from places from the opposite side of the bank in as little as 9 feet of water, down to sort of 15, and then sort of 20 foot down to 25 on the ledge, and then we found an old riverbed that runs along the middle, and it literally is only a depression of maybe about 10 feet wide at most, and it goes from 30 to 32 foot. But notably, if you search along that area, there's still quite a lot of old shrubbery, which obviously is going to be a really good attractor to the carp. So got to be a little bit careful on where you place rigs, so fish can't just instantly kite or run into these underwater obstructions, otherwise it would be game over instantly. So that was one area that looked really good, and then I fished in an old area that I fished last year, just off the bottom of a drop off, again in about 28-29 feet of water. Looks really good. A lot of fish showing there, don't know what they are, just bream, roach, that sort of thing, but it's obviously an area fish of some description like to be. Pretty much like the riverbed as well, it's absolutely littered with fish on the riverbed. Predominantly probably just coarse fish, but again, it's an area, if the coarse fish want to be there, there's a good chance the carp want to be there as well, so you can't ignore those areas. So as it was, the fish came to the riverbed. If I'd have put my money on the first take, it would have been that spot, closely followed by one other spot on the drop off in 28-29 feet of water, but that was the spot that was going to go. Thought it might at this time of year. Came to double 20mm hardened boilies, so a little bit smaller than the other stuff I've got out there. I'm using 24 and 30mm boilies on pop-ups or singles or doubles or snowman, not pop-ups, snowmen. in varying degrees. So this one just came to a good bog standard double 20mm. So that's good on the mussel, on the same bait I've been using now and devised for the last 2 years. So really is a good bait with an awful lot of green lip mussel in it and other stuff like that, which really seems to work. So that's it as we speak now. We had a really wet night last night. Everything went to mud again, but it stopped raining shortly after the mirror this morning, and now it's dried up into a very dull but dry and relatively warm t-shirt weather afternoon. Looks really good for another bite, it really does. My old mate John's off the mark. Language, John.
Fuck off. I'll fucking get it fucking banned off fucking YouTube.
Well done, John. What a beaut.
Go through the bottom lip.
Yeah, good rigs.
Oh mate, you with a spinner, we fucking chuffed him.
Oh yeah, that'd be in the pot. Lovely.
It didn't tweet, I just reeling it in.
Well, you grabbed it.
Yeah. Get yourself lucky, mate. If I was French, you'd be gone.
Say something then, babe.
What do you want me to say? I don't
Any
know.
old shit.
Hello.
And as you can see, we are enjoying our first lovely day since we've arrived. So, you know, we're going to crack open some wine tonight and get pissed. So there. Our first real decent sunrise here on this nice French southern lake. It's been a bit dull and overcast and damp, to say the least, and this is the first real sunrise that we've experienced. It's going to be a really lovely day today. Temperature's hitting about 26, 27, feels like closer to 30 apparently. So all this damp soil and mud and clay will soon get dried out, make things a little bit more comfortable and civilised again. Another quiet night, nothing to show. Still only that one fish. If things haven't happened by tomorrow night, tomorrow morning, then I think it'll be time to make a move. And then half an hour later, or an hour later, it's now about 9:30 and the mist has ascended and you can't see much further out than the rods. Oh. We're in.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, Wednesday, the 4th of October, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and carp fishing is a little bit slow, to say the least. One of the slowest sessions the slowest session I've ever had here, and
So that's the size of fish we're catching.
it's the smallest fish I've had on this session yet. And I don't even know what that is. It must only be a very small roach. So to kill the time, this is the first proper beautiful day that we've had since we arrived. It's absolutely glorious. As the wind's turned around now finally from a northerly wind, northwesterly, and it swung round overnight. It was a beautiful, clear, moonlit night for best part of the night. Woke up this morning, as you probably saw earlier on, to a gorgeous sunrise. The mist then came over, as you saw, and the mist has finally cleared in the last I don't know, hour, and we're left to enjoy a beautiful afternoon on this gorgeous lake in the Pyrenees. Out to the mark we go, just fishing about sort of a 10-foot short of it. Oh yeah! Oh, how did I miss that? Oh. Just a nice little swinger there. Another pristine little roach, about 4 ounces that one maybe. Go on then. Yeah. Oh, a proper, well, I'll say a proper skimmer bream, but good morning. It's Thursday the 5th, I think, of October. Probably about 10 o'clock in the morning now. Woke up to a glorious day, but still no more fish. So after speaking to a couple of Austrian anglers, a little bit further up towards the dam, done a bit of a recce yesterday and found another suitable area where we can actually just about make it down with a van. A little bit sketchy, but you know, a calculated risk, I would say. So as we speak at the moment, we're packing up. All the rods were in a little while ago, and we're going to make the very, very long journey of about half a mile up towards the dam of this gorgeous lake. So on that note, I shall sign off for now and get back to you maybe later on this evening. Over and out. Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock, Friday the 6th of October, and we're just coming up for our first week on this lake in the Pyrenees. We moved around this time yesterday, come and set up in this new spot which I've just shown you. As you can see, the wind has got strong. We knew it was going to get windy through the weekend. It's, 30 km/h winds, what's that, about 20 odd mile an hour, and up to 60 km an hour gusts, 65 km an hour, I don't know, what's that, about 40-45 mile an hour gusts of wind. It's a little bit brisk here, to say the least, sat on this point yet again. Very exposed. Really did think the wind was going to be blowing from the south, but it's not. It's north, northwest, north, something like that. Wind's dropping off this evening, possibly down to about 15 mile an hour, a little bit more manageable. Certainly can't go out in a boat at the minute to do any baiting up, that'd be dangerous. So just coming up for 24 hours in this new spot. Looked fantastic yesterday, having seen at least a couple of fish move. Had a drop back this morning, proved this to be a bream, but nothing else. You know, the weather's overcast, it's going to brighten up this afternoon, I believe. It looks great for a bite right this second, it really does. It looks absolutely fantastic. You know, we're trying hard, you know, I don't think anybody can really criticise me for not working hard at it. It's always a big job moving and moving to another part, moving positions, and it's no mean feat, believe you me. It's just a risk even getting a vehicle down here, you know. So you know, we're taking a risk and just hope it works out. Maybe a second night with bait out there left to soak. Fingers crossed we'll get something by tomorrow morning. but at this time we're going to hunker back down behind our little camp and just relax and keep out of the wind. Over and out.
October, and at 3:30 that's when you've got your fight.
Yeah, there we go. What a battle. 41 pounds exactly. An absolute gig when I get a nickel back. What an absolute kick. Can't believe it. The move paid off. Less than 24 hours later, then we got this bruise. Why am I for me? I'm backed up to 50 at last. After 4 months. Double 20mm muscle base. Over a couple of kilo of oilate. Put a bit of particle. That's done the trick. Thank you very much. Let's put it back. A long battle, good 15 minutes. I stood up on the rock behind me, as you saw earlier. There's a drop off. One more, one last lift. Yes! Absolutely over. Brilliant. Thanks again. Woo! I've been at the seaside. Good and strong. Brilliant. Good afternoon. Saturday the 7th of October, about 4:30 in the afternoon. What a glorious day. A little bit different from yesterday. Looked more like Chesil Beach in front of us. Where the light waves were crashing about. All clouded up in the margins. As I released that amazing £41 plus mirror. Been a bit of a quiet night. Full moon last night before last. Very, very bright. And it looked alright. There was a bit of cloud early evening, and you would have thought, yeah, maybe, yeah, it might be another one, but nothing. Had a little bit of an occurrence in the early hours. So I think I had a bream hanging on one of my rods, and I chose to ignore it. Wasn't sure whether he was on or not, but had a few more bleeps from it, and you know, an indicator had dropped again this morning, so I knew there was one on. Anyway, we just had a little walk up onto the rocks up here, me and Claire, just admiring the sunrise as it comes up behind us. And Claire thought she heard an alarm and dropped back to that same rod with the suspected bream on it. And I went down, struck into it, instantly really, really heavy. I thought, oh my god, there's actually a carp on here. Can't believe it. So struck into it, felt really, really heavy. Well, so it felt heavy. It felt heavy, but it didn't feel like a true monster. It was a little bit erratic at times, and got in with about 30 yards of the bank, and I thought, sod it, I'll jump in the boat, and got out there, and I played it again for another minute or so, but it just felt weird. And anyway, hook come out, or come back with a hook, just suddenly released, come back, and the hook link was really badly severed. 20 kilo hook link, really badly severed, about 3 or 4 inches above the hook, and I can only assume that a pike, a good pike I might add, had probably picked up whatever was on the end there that had hung itself. It's probably a small bream of about £1.5, and just swallowed it, and just didn't hook the pike. This one is here today. It's fantastic. It certainly makes a change from the gales and the wind and the rain and the mud on the previous spot. This in comparison is pretty much idyllic. You know, it's a fantastic piece of water right near the end of the night zone, which is just the other side of that house. We cover the whole of this main bowl this time of year, which is, well, that's where I caught the carp from yesterday, in 48 feet of water. You know, it's just like a sandy, shingly beach with a lot of mussels and freshwater clams on it. There aren't dead ones anyway. There's Claire, enjoying the sun at last, not the mud. So what do you think, Claire?
What?
Of this?
Beautiful. What else can I say? Nothing else you can say.
No.
When the weather's like this, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just don't like the rain and don't like the mud.
No, nobody likes the rain and nobody likes the mud. So there we go. Rods are all out. A few different positions. Move some a bit further up right out into sort of mid-water. A good sort of 250 yard out there, just following on the old riverbed. Get slowly deeper. Found about 52 feet of water. Varying amounts of bait on some. Lots of particles on others. Double 20mm bottom bait seemed to be the thing, but still working with snowmen and yellow and orange pop-ups. I thought I'd give a go, and yeah, trying a few other little tricks as well. The one instantly yesterday that caught, it's come on. I was gooed up with a bit of spicy squid, bit of a favourite of mine. That's got me out of trouble on more than one occasion, so that was quite interesting.
Are you in?
Do you believe I am?
Oh no!
1-1, nearly 1-1. I don't think mine's as big as yours though.
Oh.
Oh, blimey, we should have bloody done this before. Oh, I don't know, another one the same. Oh.
I'm getting bites.
No, you in? Yeah. Stop winding and then walk down to the water's edge and bring him in and lean down to him. Yeah. That's a cracker, isn't it?
I got a fishy!
Quality. 2-2. Shit, I'm going to have to get back to my fishing. Oh, bloody hell, that was a fluky one.
Bloody hell, fair.
Bream. Bugger me, that's 5-3. That's what's happened, the bream have moved in. Little skimmer bream. Here we go then. Product of, here, grab one. Lovely, look at that. Product of about 45 minutes fishing for a roach. We've got about 10 fish in here, all like that. Beautiful. Lovely. Not a bad way to kill the time while you're waiting for the carp, not the feed. There's a bit of a waste not sat by the fire.
This steak's alright, isn't it?
Pardon? Yeah, is it alright? Yeah. Yeah, they just seem a bit uneven and just didn't look like it was cut across the grain. But yeah, it tastes beautiful.
Tastes
Well,
nice.
well cooked, isn't it?
It is. Cooking skills from afar are great, aren't they?
Again?
My cooking skills from afar are great.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Big moon coming up. Just gone full moon. Don't think this will really do it justice, but the moon looks huge. So after an epic sunset about an hour ago, then we get treated to this as an encore.
Got it really short now.
Well, hook length, yeah, about 10 inches.
Oh, babe, is that fish bobbing?
About 5 from last night, maybe. Have a look in his mouth in a minute. Here we go. Giving the time as the carp ain't biting. Now Sunday the 8th of October. It's about 2 o'clock. It's now. dreamland if you caught them at home.
Fantastic. Confident, so I must admit.
I'm not quite sure on the time. I think it must be around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But he says he feels heavy and it feels like a good old plodder, so let's hope it's a good fish. Has he got it? Yes, he's netted it. Oh, he's got it. Another one in the bag. Third fish of our trip. I wonder if it's a goodie. Well, he's just shouted woo, so I think it must be a good one. We had to throw all the bait out, all the ground bait, maggots. We had to let all his roach and his hybrid go because he needed to get in the boat to play this one. Tried to play it from the bank, but it didn't happen. So here he comes, he's coming on in. Let's see what he's got.
Wow, Patrick, it's a peach.
Is it? Is it good fish, babe?
Well, you know, you'll see it. You know, it's not a monster, but it's a full linear.
Is it a linear?
Full linear. Yeah, I think it's full linear. So, you know, we were lucky to get this. So,
wow.
Crazy. So, yeah, it's was needed a little bit of skill for that one.
Yeah, I can see you playing it out there.
Yeah.
Filming.
Right, here we go. Sat here doing a little bit of roach fishing. And got up to answer the call of nature. The furthest rod out ripped off in 52 feet of water. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You just, you know, can't even put a time on these fish. It just doesn't make sense. But look at that. What a way to back up my 40 and 50 with a beautiful scaly fish like that. The other side of it. 28 pounds 4 ounces. Just in case I didn't say. Thank you very much. Beautiful. What a lovely battle it was. Got stuck about 70 yards out on a bit of a ledge. So I had no choice but to go out in the boat. Went past it and it just pinged off of whatever the line was caught on, and then we proceeded to have a great battle in the boat for a good 10 minutes. Real proper good scrap on a proper scaly wild warrior. Thank you again. Let him go. Nice and strong. Brilliant. Yes. Number 3 at last.
Yeah, at long last,
Yeah.
Dave.
Go. Right, good morning. It's Monday the 9th of October. 4 o'clock in the morning. Exactly 12 hours ago from that other really scaly mirror we had at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So it just goes to show they're not all big. This one took a single 24mm bottom bait, so yeah, nice little surprise, and just about a full in here. I'll even turn him around and show the other side. Real pretty little fish. Fishing here are some brilliant strains of fish. This was a bait that had been left out from the night before, so this had been out sort of nearly 36 hours, and I just went out there when I was baiting up other rods and just threw in another 50 baits. That seemed to have worked. There was a lot of fish jumping last night. Well, there's got a few good fish jumping last night, despite the big bright moon. And I did say that I'll be surprised if I woke up tomorrow morning and I hadn't had a take, so I wasn't disappointed. My predictions seem to be coming right, spookily a bit too often. So brilliant. Pop this little baby back and go and have a cup of tea.